One of the first things that we need to talk about is what cyberbullying is. I know that almost all of us have heard of it and we think we have our own definition of it, but let's review just to make sure. Follow along with me as I read this article. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. Cyberbullying can occur through SMS, text, and apps, or online and social media, forums, or gaming where people can view, participate in, or share content. Cyberbullying includes sending, posting, or sharing negative, harmful, false, or mean content about someone else. It can include sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. Some cyberbullying crosses the line into unlawful or criminal behavior. The most common places where cyberbullying occurs are on the social media platforms, within text messages, and within instant message, also within email. There are some things to take into consideration when talking about cyberbullying, and those are the special concerns that we are looking at here. With the prevalence of social media in digital forums, comments, photos, posts, and content shared by individuals can be often viewed by strangers as well as acquaintances. The content an individual shares online, both their personal content as well as any negative, mean, or hurtful content, creates a kind of permanent public record of their views, activities, and behavior. This public record can be thought of as an online reputation, which may be accessible to schools, employers, colleges, clubs, and others who may be researching an individual now or in the future. Cyberbullying can harm the online reputations of everyone involved, not just the person being bullied, but those doing the bullying or participating in it. Cyberbullying has the unique concerns in that it can be persistent. Digital devices offer the ability to immediately and continuously communicate 24 hours a day, so it can be difficult for children experiencing cyberbullying to find relief. Permanent. Most information communicated electronically is permanent and public, if not reported and removed. A negative online reputation, including for those who bully, can impact college admissions, employment, and other areas of life. Hard to notice. Because teachers and parents may not overhear or see cyberbullying taking place, it's often harder to recognize. So there are specific laws and sanctions that can go along with cyberbullying. Although states have laws requiring schools to respond to bullying, many states do not include cyberbullying under these laws or specify the roles schools should play in responding to bullying that takes place outside of school. Schools may take action either as required by law or with local or school policies that allow them to discipline or take other action. Some states also have provisions to address bullying if it affects school performance. You can learn about the laws and policies in each state, including if they cover cyberbullying. Okay, so here is how Kansas defines bullying and the different penalties that we have laws around in regards to cyberbullying. So let's take just a second and look at the way that Kansas deals with this. Kansas anti-bullying laws include the following definitions of bullying and cyberbullying. Bullying means any intentional gesture or any intentional written, verbal, electronic, or physical act or threat either by a student, staff member, or parent toward a student or by any student, staff member, or parent toward a staff member that is sufficiently severe, persistent, or pervasive that such gesture, act, or threat creates an intimidating, threatening, or abusive educational environment that a reasonable person under the circumstances knows or should know will have the effect of harming another student or staff member, whether that's physically or mentally, damaging a student's or staff member's property, placing a student or staff member in a reasonable fear of harm to that student or staff member, placing a student or staff member in a reasonable fear of damage of the student or staff member's property. Cyberbullying, any other form of intimidation or harassment prohibited by the Board of Education of the school district in policies concerning bullying adopted pursuant to this section or subsection. So Kansas does have anti-bullying laws and anti-cyberbullying laws in effect Okay, and so basically anything that a student, parent, or teacher does to another student, parent, or teacher can be looked upon as bullying if it meets this criteria. Okay, and as we continue down this article, cyberbullying means bullying by the use of any electronic communication device through means including but not limited to email, instant messaging, text messages, blogs, mobile phones, pagers, online games, and websites. Now, here's the interesting part. Do Kansas anti-bullying laws and regulations cover cyberbullying that occurs off campus? No. And that's one of the hardest things about cyberbullying is that if you're sitting in your house and someone is bullying you online, if you're not on school property, it is very difficult to hold that person accountable. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to make sure that we addressed, was that the laws are very clear when you are in school. All right, and that's even you. When you are at home and you're online on your computer and it is during school hours, if you are sending inappropriate information or content to anyone else, that's a problem. Okay, and one of the issues when it is not school time or when this is occurring off school property is that kids need to make sure that they're talking to their parents, teachers, some other adult, and letting them know what's going on, because it's not as easy to see as it was back in the day. Back in the day, you could see kids bullying each other in the classroom and nip it in the bud right there. But now we're not privy to all of your screens. We don't know what's going on. So we need you guys to make sure that you are making us aware of what's happening. Next up in this lesson is going to be an article that will be attached, and I want you to read it. It's very interesting. It compares what school was like 10 years ago for kids and what it's like now. And I really am interested to hear your opinion after you read this article. I found it very interesting and have shared it multiple times with other friends and educators. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing your take on it. So I want you to read that article, and then there'll be a discussion with this assignment that I want you to go through and talk to me about your perceptions of the article, what you thought about it.